Now we are going to talk about absorption of water. We have talked about the importance of water in the previous lesson, where we discussed that it is the absorption of water from the soil itself which plays an important role in transport of solutes. Now what is that all about? That is the solutes are to be moved from one place to another, and now we are going to study about that very absorption of water by the plants. Okay, now do keep in mind that when we are talking the entire plant, we are keeping the cells aside, but from your knowledge of anatomy of the plant, you need to keep in mind what is the anatomy of the root. Like it is having a root hair, then it is having the epidermis, that epidermal extension is the root hair itself, then it is having the layer, cortical layers are there, then it is having xylem and phloem, as you know, the arrangement that you can recall from your understanding of the previous lessons where we had talked about anatomy. Now in this lesson, we are going to consider that anatomical aspect, and we are going to see how the water moves from the root to the leaves which are present on the top of the plant. And if the plant is the angiosperm, or you can say the redwood trees which are so huge, how the absorption of water takes place. What would be the force behind it? Because we are dealing with the physical aspects till now, we are going to see the main force that lies behind it. What type of pressure is responsible for absorption of water? So when we study absorption of water, it is of two types. One is active absorption and the other one is passive absorption. Okay, now first of all, we are going to deal with the passive absorption of water. First thing that you have to keep in mind is that the force for passive absorption of water is generated in the leaves. Okay, due to transpiration. Transpiration is a process where the water is lost in the form of water vapors from the stomatal apertures inside the leaves. It is equivalent, or you can say it is similar to the process of evaporation. Okay, evaporation is a completely physical process, or you can say there is no involvement of living cells. In transpiration, we have involvement of living leaf cells. So passive absorption, the force lies between the leaves, okay, due to the process of transpiration. Leaves are the source where the force of this passive absorption lies. On the contrary, in the active absorption, the force lies with the root cells. So you can see the difference. While this one has the main source of force in the leaves, this one is having the force in the root cells. Secondly, we have a negative pressure which is being generated in the xylem column. Okay. Now, because the name says that it is passive absorption, and because I have used the term negative pressure, so you can keep in mind that what I am dealing with, supposedly this is a plant and we have a representation, the leaf over here, we are going to have water pressure, or you can say water potential, a reduced water potential. There would be a lot of water stress which would be created over here, and it would be passed on like this. A negative pressure would be generated. It would be in contact with the root. This is soil supposedly. Okay, here lies xylem. This is the leaf. Now the leaf is the main site where the force would be generated. The leaf would get rid of the water. It would create a water stress over here. The water stress would be accumulated or taken care by the nearby cells, and hence, because this leaf is in continuity with the xylem column, which is in continuity with the root hair and the soil by this membrane, or you can say epidermal hairs, that there is a continuous negative pressure which is being generated within the column. Contrary to this, in the active absorption, there would be a positive pressure which would be generated in root cells undergoing endosmosis. That means water would be entering from the soil into the root, while over here this is the movement of water. It is being taken up like this. The negative pressure is being generated like this. Okay, the pressure suction is upwards here. In the opposite case, the pressure suction, supposedly this is the root here and the root, the pressure would be exerted like this. Okay, now coming to the names, this is what is to be understood, where it takes place, how it takes place. This involves utility of ATP. Okay, the energy that is generated by the process of respiration within the living cells is being used with the expense of ATPs. The water is moving inside the cells which are osmotically active inside the root itself. Okay, the root anatomy you can recall. So the root cells which are in contact with the soil would take up the soil water. Here I would like to tell you that soil's capillary water, if you don't know, we have studied it in lower classes. Soil's capillary water is being taken up by the plant. Okay, and that is hygroscopic water, we call it that way. This capillary water enters the root cells. This entry is energy mediated, that means it utilizes the ATP according to the osmotic needs. The water enters it and it exerts a pressure on the column which is entering. So pressure is exerted from this side. Here the negative pressure is generated. Over here it is a pushing pressure. Over there it is a pulling pressure, that is why it is a negative pressure. The ATP is going to be used. Over here ATPs are not used because it is a negative pressure that is being generated. Lastly, you have to remember one thing, that in absorption of water, while the active absorption involves living cells, if the cells won't be living, how can you expect the utilization of ATP? And in the case of passive absorption, living cells are not required. They are of not much importance because the xylem column is almost dead. It is the physical force which is required. It does not require ATP, so it can very well take place without involvement of living cells. But yeah, it does take place in the involvement of living cells also. So the absorption of water inside the plant is both active and passive at the same time. So we have two different pathways which are present inside the plant that we are going to study in the next lesson.